Thanks so much for having me on. Today I'm going to talk about a myth of comfort. And some of you might want to plug your ears because this may not come across as something you want to hear, but I think it's something that we all need to hear. Comfort is good for us, is what is preached by our media and by the ads and by big business. And comfort sells and we buy it up. Comfort and convenience. But the truth of the matter is comfort is actually making our bodies sick. And what I mean by sick is everything from distortion, which most of you guys out there call it, being overweight or being heavy or I need to lose weight. But I like to refer to a body as distorted because most of the time we realize it's not even a calorie exercise issue. It's more of a hormone issue, a stress issue, and our organs are starting to become stressed out and distort the body in different ways. And we could talk about that a little bit more some other time, but there's major distortions of the body, whether it's around the belly, whether it's in the thighs, whether it's in the face. So back to comfort. And what do I mean by comfort is, I like to say comfort is killing us. And that sounds pretty abrasive, but here's what I mean. Let's just start with your thermostat. So everybody knows it's summer. We're in the Sacramento area. It's hot. We like to keep our thermostat set to keep us cool. And I would imagine most of you assume that's a good thing. And, when there's heat waves, people die. And it's very hard on the elderly maybe or the immunocompromised. But the reality is a normal functioning human body likes variance. It likes extreme. In other words, nighttime's cold and daytime's hot. And that actually helps our internal thermostat work right. When we set that thermostat at 68 or 72 or 74, whatever you like it at, we're kind of defying how nature works. Now, some of you know intuitively, hey, open the windows at night, make it real cold. But a lot of us don't like that, myself included. I'm a victim of that. I don't want to be too cold. I don't want to be too hot. But the reality is a body loves extremes. So a body wants it to be 50, 60 degrees at night, and it wants it to be 90 to 100. That variable is what makes us stronger, okay? Another example are smooth surfaces. A big part of how our brain negotiates life are through our feet. Meaning if I have my eyes closed, and I'm doing it right now in studio, I know I have carpet under my feet because I could tap my feet around and I could understand the surface underneath me. I could tell that I'm wearing socks, I could tell that I'm wearing shoes, and that's because a huge part of our ability to navigate the terrain of life and not walk into things and not fall every other step is because of the joint receptors in our feet that talk to our brain. Well, here's what we do. We concrete and pave everything, right? And I get that. We have to have, handicap accessibility and things like that. But the reality is the majority of all of us are not handicapped. And we are walking on smooth surfaces all the time. And what we're doing is we're actually dulling our senses. So what I tell people to do is, hey, get out and walk on uneven surfaces. There's this thing called nature. And many of us never get to that place. We don't know where it is on the map. We pull out our iPhone and we Google nature, and next thing you know, we're upgrading our software. We're looking on Google at other things and YouTube and all that. But nature is this kind of imaginary place out there that there's trees and there's rocks and there's dirt and there's rivers, and we walk. And our brain goes, oh my goodness, I have to work. I have to navigate. I can't go on autopilot. I have to pay attention or you're going to fall down the cliff or you're going to fall into the river and die. So I know that seems silly, but these are primitive things our bodies are wired with that really help us. And the more we do that, the sharper our brain is, the sharper our mental acuity is. And believe it or not, the less pain we feel. A lot of the reason we feel pain is because we don't stimulate our joint receptors. We're always walking on carpet, hardwood floor, tile, concrete, asphalt. Think about how much of your day you spend off of those things. How much of your day are you on rocks, gravel, dirt, leaves, and grass? And I would imagine, if you're to be honest, it's very little. So there is a case where comfort, walking on smooth surfaces, is injuring our health. And you guys, this isn't just something silly. I mean, we're talking about, there's so many brain disorders, degenerative brain diseases that are helped by motion. And while you're young and as you're aging, staying moving. Okay, so more uneven surfaces, please. Another thing is our emotions. Our culture preaches, hey, you don't want to be too happy, you don't want to be too sad. We come up with these diagnoses like used to be manic depressive, and now it's bipolar. And I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not saying these things don't exist. But what I am saying is it's a little suspicious how much when we get outside the normal variant of what culture says, meaning here's how low. This is an acceptable low spot emotionally, and here's an acceptable high spot emotionally. People come into the room and they're too excited. We want to tell, hey, you got to calm that down a little bit. I do that with my kids. They come in, don't be kids. Be little adults. Don't get excited. We got to manage your range of emotion here. And what ends up happening is, we dull everything down to the accepted range of emotion that works for classrooms, that works for Starbucks, that works for the studio, that works for the office. But the problem with that is that's not how our bodies are biologically meant to be. We're meant to be all over the charts. High highs, low lows, and in the middle. And we're always meant to be swinging like a curve, like a sine curve if you're a mathematic person. Remember the waves? You got your sine and your cosine and all that fun. I think it's geometry or trigonometry. I don't know. That's when I switched off my math switch and went into my science switch. That was getting a little much for me. But the point being, in our culture now, we have medications to try to keep people in that comfortable range, that socially accepted range, because we think that's good for us. And the reality is, it's really not in most cases. Obviously, there's exceptions to that, and do seek medical attention, and don't go against your medical advice. I'm just talking to the majority of people out there who have not been diagnosed with some condition or disease. But kids are a big one too, all the ADD and ADHD and things like that. It's becoming problematic when we're not allowed to express our emotions properly. One last thing on that I wanted to talk about too was the idea, it's in the popular media right now, it just went to legislation, the vaccine bill. A lot of people want to argue whether vaccines work or not. I believe they do work, but I also believe there is a consequence very frequently to them. I also think it's a parent's choice for their kids what they want to do with that. But just to stay on point, we try to get rid of all disease and vaccinate so there's no illness. That's comfortable for a culture and a society. And I get that. Hey, as a parent, I want my kids to stay healthy. But I also know they got to get bugs and dirt and slime and owies, and they have to get all these things and experience them for their immune systems to work right. Because with the absence of sickness, we don't get strong. We stay in this narrow range. So you could live your whole life here in America. You could get vaccinated and you could have antibiotics every time you get sick. And you could almost live illness-free, but the problem is you have now really, really narrowed your range of what you can tolerate. Good luck in Mexico on that trip. Good luck if you want to go to Africa and do a mission trip now, because your immune system is not going to be able to handle the wide range of things that are out there. So this is the topic today, that comfort is good for us. To be honest with you, I think comfort is killing us as a culture. We really need to understand it's okay to have extremes within reason, and please hear me, within reason. But next thing I'd like you to think about when you're out walking around on that nice sidewalk, just scoot over a few feet, get on the grass, get on the bark, get on the, instead of going to the gym and being so regimented about what you're doing, go out in the backyard. Be safe, but move some rocks around, shovel something, tinker around, be productive. Because the thing is, we're trying to stay comfortable and predictable. And here's the final thought I want to leave you on. Here's what this reminds me of, this idea of comfort. I went to the Folsom Zoo. It's more of a rescue, and they have a couple big cats there, tigers. And it was heartbreaking to see these amazing creatures that are just lying there, lifeless. They can't hunt. They hardly play. They just sit there in this cage. And it's nothing against the Folsom Zoo. It's an amazing sanctuary, and I'm sure those cats have a story. But the point being, this is more the imagery I want to paint. I wonder if they even know they're tigers and what they're capable of, because they've been so domesticated and they're living a very comfortable life. But I assure you, their claws are manicured, their teeth are toned down, their instincts have been dimmed down. But we all know when we look at those cats, there is something amazing and beautiful within them that is not comfortable. And in fact, an admission of guilt. I was they were sleeping. I'm out there with my kids and I'm going, I want these things to, I don't want them to do tricks for me. I don't want to disrespect the beauty of those cats, but I want to see them move. I want to see what they're about. And they're sitting there sleeping. I start making a funny little cat noise. I'm not going to do it on air. That would be embarrassing. But I start doing this little cat noise, and one opens his eyes a little bit and shuts it. So I do it a little bit louder, and I'm leaning in, and there's bars there. And all of a sudden, this thing opened its eyes, lifted its head, and gave me a little growl. And I'll tell you what, I'm too old to wear diapers and I'm too young to wear diapers, but I almost needed a diaper that day. And I hope that's not too inappropriate to say, but that was power and that was amazing. And that is what I'm trying to tell you guys. In all of us, God has given us this primitive, wild, amazing, beautiful spirit and vitality and strength. But comfort in our culture, it's robbing us of that. We don't even know it's there. So I'm just hoping that you guys out there listening, that it stirs something in you and you want to go find what that is inside yourself, and that your spirit or your brain or your intuition right now is telling you, hey, maybe I'm doing this comfort thing too much and that's why I'm not living the life I want to live. So if that sounds like something you want to explore more, you're welcome to go to my website and request a free evaluation where we could talk about these things. We could look at your body, look at some of your mental and behavioral profiles and figure out, hey, is this you? Are you the caged tiger, or are you out roaming in nature? And you're welcome to go to drpatterson.com. That's drpatterson, Patterson.com. Click through some of the pages there and you'll find a free evaluation and just fill it out. That'll shoot a message to my office and we'll give you a call and get you scheduled for a free evaluation. Just mention you heard about that on the radio. Thank you. God bless you. And remember, comfort is nice, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have any comfort, but overall, I do believe comfort is killing us.